the 4 levels of saying fuck you. So people talk about fuck you money, and that was kind of the first level. It's a meme, but it's also the truth. There's an amount of wealth that you can achieve when typical restrictions and conventions don't really apply to you anymore. You don't need to suck up to the gatekeepers. You don't need to do things that you don't want to do. And in extreme situations, you kind of don't even need to follow the law because you can pay people off or buy expensive solicitors and lawyers and stuff. And then fuck you freedom is kind of downstream from fuck you money, but can also be created aside from it by cultivating a lack of resilience on other groups. There are no restrictions on where you can travel to and when and for how long. You don't need to show up to work on time or work at all. If you're sufficiently well structured, you don't really even need to care about the state of the economy or the power grid or the wider world or whatever. This is your classic Austin guy that buys a ranch somewhere in Bastrop or Bee Cave or whatever, and they now live outside of town and they don't really even need to worry about anything. They're a siloed little nation out in the middle of nowhere. And then another level that I think you can get to, again, all of these kind of exist independently. It's not like they're stacked on top of each other, which is significantly cheaper and more accessible and more common and maybe even more powerful, which was the fuck you family. So a lot of fathers that I've spoken to have told me about how their priorities were completely changed upon starting a family. And all of the previous status games that they used to play seem quite petty because the admiration and the gamesmanship that they used to play in order to impress people in power or those with status seemed juvenile and shallow in retrospect. And much of their anxiety about whether different people liked them or thought they were cool or whatever evaporated. The only person that they really needed to care about impressing was the one 5 feet asleep above them in their house and maybe the person that was next to them in their bed. To their kids, they were the coolest, richest, strongest, most heroic person on the planet. And this gives dads, it seems, a very powerful kind of liberation. And it seems to me that much of what young men get up to are surrogate activities until they finally become a father. And this isn't to say that all fathers have become like placid soy boy hippies or that having kids neuters your ambition, but it definitely seems to open up a new realm where dads care far less about the flotsam and jetsam that used to occupy their lives. But then I heard a story this weekend about a 4th type of saying fuck you, which is fuck you fame. And this is, I guess, whereas the family, the freedom, and to some degree the money pulls you outside of the existing hierarchy in the existing game, this is winning the existing game so well that you are no longer at the mercy of it. And that is, the example that was used was Rachel McAdams doesn't have social media. So you're so ubiquitous, you're so well known that your fame carries itself and you don't need to any longer play the fame game. And Rachel McAdams not having social media, embarrassingly, apparently Rachel McAdams doesn't have social media because of how well known she was, and I had to question who's Rachel McAdams, and then realized that someone had done a song about her. I think it was Dave on that, or whatever it's called, Little Bobby. I've ruined that. Whatever that sitcom is that's been going around that's got Andrew Santino in it, that's pretty funny. That they did a song about Rachel McAdams in there, I think. But other than that, I didn't know who she was. Famous actress, doesn't have social media. She's played the fame game to a degree where she is so high she's now outside of it and she doesn't need to, which perhaps is why I didn't know who she was.